Okay, my movie collection keeps growing, and my list of unwatched movies keeps getting bigger, so let's get on with this. Now, today in our journey through my collection of unwatched movies, we have Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe. Now, this time I was able to find some information on this film. This movie appears to star Jesse Ventura and has a cameo by Jim Belushi. I'm not sure what to expect from that type of casting. So the movie was really bland. I didn't have any strong opinions about it one way or the other outside of its blandness. It kind of looks like a made-for-TV Terminator 2.
Stay down!
Go now!
We gotta stick together!
And I really should emphasize that looked like aspect. It looked like it was made for TV because it seems to have been intended for a theatrical release. It was rated PG-13 as opposed to being rated TV-14, for example. The Motion Picture Association of America, or the MPAA, they rate the movies that are intended to be screened for theaters. G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17, whereas the FCC rates movies and television shows that are intended for a television broadcast release. TVY, Y7, 14, etc., all that fun stuff. So I'm not sure exactly why this looks so made for TV, even though it was intended for a theatrical release. Back in the year 1990, remember this movie came out the same year as this. And just 1 year before this, but it looks like this.
Finders are required to renew their vows every 100 Earth years. I've renewed my vows about 90 times now.
And that's what we have to work with today. That's the movie we're watching today. Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe. Continuing on with our Terminator 2 comparisons, the stories are very much the same. Sort of. The movie follows a space alien named Abraxas. He works as a finder, and he is on the lookout for a renegade finder called Secundus. And despite how renegade he is, Abraxas cannot kill Secundus because Secundus used to be such a good finder. So already you have the Terminator 2 parallels where you have the T-800 and the T-1000, and they're both kind of on the run, looking for each other, fighting each other, all that fun stuff. But instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you have Jesse Ventura.
You could have executed Secundus. That would have prevented the problem.
He was a finder, Abraxas.
Was. Now he's an uncontrollable malcontent. You should have terminated him.
Secundus finds a poor young lady and,
I really do need your body.
DNA infusion complete. Reproduction commenced.
God, what am I watching? I should probably emphasize that this is not one of the parts I found bland. Definitely had strong feelings of confusion about that scene. Abraxas finds the poor young lady and is understandably hesitant about killing her or her weird sci-fi baby. A sci-fi baby that was born not 5 minutes after conception. I'm not going to understand a lot of this film, am I? The movie weirdly gives way to like a neat little single parent family drama montage where we see the sci-fi baby grow to become a mute boy named Thomas.
It's been 5 years since Tommy was born. 5 years since that night. We have a nice, fairly regular life. Except that Tommy has never spoken. He's never made a sound. Sometimes, I have no idea what he's really thinking. I think he's mute.
Well, have you tried anything with him to get him to speak? I know here, when students are not paying attention or pretending they don't hear me, I try to catch them off guard. I go, ah!
Now, since Thomas became a grade schooler, Abraxas' higher-ups have been getting on his case for not killing Thomas when he had a chance.
Secundus would be irrelevant if you had eliminated the girl before she gave birth.
None of us could be certain her child would possess the Anti-Life Equation.
We're certain now. The readouts indicate the child is a co-mater.
I mean, if they really want him dead, if Abraxas really wants to kill him, I don't know what's stopping him from doing it now, but there you go. Just like in Terminator 2, when the T-100 decided to take care of child John Connor, Abraxas decides instead of killing the boy that he's going to try to protect him instead. And just like in Terminator 2, how the T-1000 was just determined to kill boy John Connor, Secundus is destined to hunt down the boy and try to unleash his full potential as a destructive co-mater. And if you're confused about how any of this works, then don't worry. The movie proceeds to explain this in excruciating detail through a series of long and boring dialogue scenes that you just kind of tune out of and your eyes glaze over and you just think about other things like, why am I here? What am I doing with my life? Do I want food? I could go with some food. Why do I keep expecting them to say tomater instead of co-mater?
Yeah, like tomater.
The Finders also talk like Terminators, which is...
Are you a birthing member of the human race?
See you soon, Abraxas. None of us could be certain her child would possess the Anti-Life Equation.
Give her the keys. Get out of my way.
Have a nice day.
Are there any women here?
It's weird. It's very weird. There's also a lot of product placement in this movie that I just couldn't help but get distracted by.
I don't usually pour my heart out like this. Your effervescent charm. My passion for you will never be quenched. I feel so special. I feel like a Pepsi.
The Anti-Life Equation is tantamount to magic. It would make me a god. Anything less is death.
Now, unlike the Terminator movies, our boy here, Thomas, begins to develop his co-mater superpowers, which apparently involve him making little boys pee their pants.
I make you wet your pants.
And dunking their heads in the toilet when they bully him at school. I didn't make that up. All of this comes to a head when Secundus kidnaps Thomas, with Abraxas following close behind.
Tommy, run! Run!
And it stresses Thomas out, causing Thomas to make everything explode around him with his co-mater powers. Now here is where I was expecting a twist. The movie had kind of set itself up neatly for a big reveal of some sort, but that's not what happened. Secundus is being very bad, but Abraxas cannot kill Secundus without his higher-ups getting upset and punishing him because Secundus used to be such a good finder. But Secundus had already made Tommy realize his true potential as a co-mater. And he feels like he's in danger right now, like he was when he was bullied in school, so those powers could come out to help him save the day. So I'm expecting the scene where Secundus almost kills Abraxas, but then Thomas shows up with his superpowers and kills Secundus instead. Or at least, beats him up a little bit. Movies tend to be a little gun-shy about their child hero killing people to save the day, especially if they were rated PG-13 for a theatrical release and still look like a made-for-TV movie. But none of that happens. Abraxas just straight up kills Secundus, and his higher-ups seem to be fine with it.
Testing will result in discorporation. Testing will result in discorporation. Your mission is completed. Command congratulates you. A travel warp will appear in 2 minutes to transport you to your next assignment.
Despite telling him over and over again that he can't kill Secundus because he used to be such a good finder. It was pretty much a letdown. The movie didn't do any clever things. It didn't even follow through with its own world building or its own narrative premise. It could have pulled something really clever out of that premise, but it didn't do that. It just contradicted everything and resulted in an anticlimactic ending. So, I don't know. I didn't hate this movie. In fact, there's a lot of stuff that I find unintentionally funny and kind of ironically enjoyed. I mean, that's a shot that I'm going to enjoy for days on end. But if you were to ask me, I'd most certainly would rather watch Terminator 2 again. On a loop. Hi, this is Stefan. We're going to do some ASMR stuff, so, ASMR nose blowing.